traveling, retelling the story number 2. This is a story about a guy who wanted to surprise his girlfriend and to take her for a weekend getaway to Las Vegas. He thought that it would be a great idea and that nothing could possibly go wrong, but actually he was wrong and it turned out to be his worst trip ever. His girlfriend, Casey, liked that idea. He picked her up at her dorm and they set off. She had planned the route before and she was acting like she was his navigator, even though he knew the route quite well. Then they wanted to visit some places on their way to Las Vegas. There were a couple of interesting places, like some kind of rocks and Route 66 Museum. But they got a flat tire after some time and he had to fix it. It took him an hour and a half. His hands were dirty and they felt hungry, so they decided to pull over and eat in a roadside cafe. It looked like typical American diner from the 60s. The food didn't taste very good, but it seemed fresh and hot, so they ate it and left the tips for the waitress. Then they went to the parking lot and he realized that he had forgotten to lock the car. So the car was unlocked and somebody had broken into it. And somebody had stolen his iPad, Kathy's wallet, and even his sneakers, yeah. So they were sitting in the car feeling quite depressed, but then they decided to set off again. And after some 50 miles, he felt an intense pain in his stomach, and Kathy was really painful. Casey, was really pale, yeah, and it seemed like she was going to faint. She asked him to stop and she said that she was feeling nauseous and she was going to throw up. They took some medicine from his first aid kit and hoped that it would help. Then they realized that they had run out of gas and they needed some help, but there was nobody around. It was a desert and they were like in the middle of nowhere with no hope. And then a big cargo truck stopped. Casey was waving like crazy to attract his attention. The driver turned out to be really helpful and he shared some fuel so that they could make it to the nearest gas station. And there Casey told the guy that she didn't want to go to Las Vegas anymore, and he agreed. He had the same opinion about that situation, that bad day. They decided to stay in some motel, but the first motel was fully booked, and while they were looking for another motel, they started to... Casey lost her temper, she lost her patience, and they had a fight, blaming each other in the situation, and she stopped talking to them in the end. Eventually they found a motel, but in the parking lot he scratched somebody's car. It was a little scratch, but it was so unpleasant after all those events. He had left a $50 note. And they went to the reception, they checked in, filled some form, and they went inside the room. It was really smelly. It smelled like with cigarettes and old carpets. So it was really awful trip. And after that, why Jessica? No, Jessica. Her name was Casey. His girlfriend Casey, never talked to him again. That's it.